Hey everyone, today in Valheim we are going to build an automatic farm for grey dwellers. Lots of stone, lots of wood, not a lot of effort. Well, some upfront effort, but not a collection effort. So if you build wood around the grey dwarf thing, they won't spawn because they won't spawn on man-made stuff. However, even a little spot like the one you saw up there will allow them to spawn. And then the next thing you're going to want to do is dig down below the spawn point and make a very nice, well, I decided to go with a square because it's easier to build squares than anything else in this game. So we're going to boost on through this, and you're going to see how we chisel out this square. I'm not the first one to do this, so I will have a link to the video giving credit to the person that I saw do this first. I don't know if it's the first person to do this, but it's the person that I saw do it first. And that will be linked below. And the person who did that actually was Broadbent. And I'll be linking his video below where he shows how to do this as well. Big notes with these. Essentially what you're trying to do here is the grey dwarfs can only spawn within a certain proximity of that portal, and they can't spawn at anything man-made. So the panels are put down to keep them from spawning while you're working on this, and then once you have it set up to where they can only spawn at one specific spot, then you're going to take away the panels and let them start spawning. So what we're doing now is we're chiseling around the portal so that we can minimize the area that the grey dwarfs are allowed to spawn. So essentially we're making one little tiny spire so they can spawn on top of that only, and then when they spawn they're going to fall into something that we are going to use to kill them. So that's what we're going for. So we're going to chisel this over and over. Ideally in a square because it's easier to build things in a square. So I'm going to show you that, and we are going to go from there. So it's not super exciting to watch the chisel, but you know, it's sped up, so that'll help, and we're going to do it that way. Chisel away, chisel some more. When you think you're done chiseling, you chisel some more. Once we get a nice little spire, we can set up the kill zone, and we can eliminate those wooden planks up there. Building a chest to make some room. So you can see I only brought a stack of stone and a little bit to make a portal, and then I've gotten stone from chiseling out down there. And then I realized, oh crap, I forgot to do my early portal first, so it's not quite connected. So I ran back home, set up a new portal. Another thing that I found really useful is to bring materials for a stone cutter out here, so that you can use some stone because it is going to be needed. So we've got a little spire. We're going to try to line it up kind of dead center here. It doesn't have to be perfect, but ideally it's centered under the portal. Makes it a little easier to get the spawns where you want them. So just going to kind of shape that up to get it perfect. Alright, now it's as close to perfect as I'm going to care to. So now we're going to drop once we get it just right. We're going to start dropping some of these hearths down so that they'll fall into them and catch on fire. For the hearths, like I said, you are going to need a stone cutter, which takes 2 iron, and iron can't be teleported. However, I found a workaround for teleporting metal, and that will be coming in another video. It's very useful. So stay tuned and check that out when you're done with this one. I'm going to be posting that probably on Wednesday this week. So get these all lined up. And the other goal is when you drop them into the flames here, you're going to want the flames to be a little bit lower than the surrounding area because the gray doors can't jump. So if you make a little ledge, you can go in and out and collect all your loot, and they cannot go in and out. So we're going to raise this up a little bit and make enough room to walk around it. And then I discovered also that you don't want to make it right next to them because they can still hit at you. So if you make it too wide, it's more useful because they can stay away from them enough to not get hit by them while they're burning alive and all that fun stuff. So we're going to chisel this away, widen it out, and then we're going to bring the elevation up around the fire. And once the elevation is up around the fire, they will not be able to get out of the fire and they will burn. Also, the big perk with using stone is not only are you going to get stone from these guys, but you are also going to have things with more durability. Some of these traps have had like spikes and other things, but the stone really does have pretty good durability, and so you don't have to maintain it as much. You can AFK for a longer time and get more loot when you come back. And even if they somehow smash up the fires by walking around on them, they take a little bit of damage over time. You're still going to have them surrounded with other stones, so even if you come back to a Grey Dwarf party, ideally they're still going to be trapped in the area. So we got our flames set up. We're going to remove all these boards, and then you're going to see Grey Dwarfs start to spawn on the top of that spire. Then they're going to fall down and they're going to burn. So I ran out of materials, so I started a little earlier than I had hoped, but you know, now I can use the materials from the Grey Dwarfs to farm the Grey Dwarfs, which is great. Started with wood plank. That will work, less durable, but it's easier to get. So kind of mixed and matched some stone and wood here until they dropped enough stone for me to do the whole thing in stone. We're going to go through that. And then later in the video, I actually have an example of just how much you farm per time. I timed it out for an exact minute and collected all the materials, and so you can kind of do the math to see if this is worth it for you. Spoiler alert, it's probably worth doing. And it's a lot easier than chopping all the trees and everything else. So there I got a little excited. I ended up getting killed because I was running around in the fire and got too close to the Grey Dwarfs. But once you're all set up, your risk of death is minimal, if not non-existent. So I'm going to teleport back out, get my stuff back. Alright. Yeah. See, the thing is I got attacked by the swamp guys while I was mid-build. So that was not ideal. So, you know, blobs are a thing. Now, back to killing Grey Dwarfs. So as they drop more stone, I'm just replacing the wood with the stone. Again, one level higher than what the fire is there, so they can't get out. And then I'm tired of them hitting me, so I'm going to widen it out so I don't have to walk right next to them. And I kind of get a little carried away here with the build because I just wanted it to be a little bit nicer. I didn't want to get jumped by, say, blobs while I'm in the middle of farming some Grey Dwarfs. Kind of make it safer to AFK without getting swarmed. So we're going to keep collecting materials, use them up, put them in the chest, make room, all that fun stuff. And eventually we will have this completely surrounded with stone so that they don't break open, and then we will put some walls around the area so that we don't have to worry about getting jumped by other attacks. Okay, it's starting to look pretty good. Getting a second layer going. We'll chisel that out so it looks good. As a side bonus, I've given you even more stone as you chisel things out. Now the interesting thing to note is I only started with the materials for a stone cutter and some extra stone, a little bit of wood when I came out here. So pretty much all of the materials I'm going to use to build this building here were farmed from these gray dwarfs as they died. And so while I was building, they were just busy dying. I come in and collect the loot, and then I would build some more. So now I have an entire house all fleshed out, surrounded by stone. It's roofed over. Interesting note, I found out if you roof completely over the portal, they stop spawning. So you have to leave a hole in the roof. I'll go show you that hole. It's a 2x2 hole, total of 4 squares. And if you leave that exposed, you can build all the way around it other than that section as long as it's above the portal, and they'll keep spawning. You see how they're still spawning there? But if you close off that roof there, then they will stop spawning. So let's go down. We'll collect some loot. Put it in the chests that I have set up. And now it's a nice habitable place with, well, nice aside from the burning gray door screaming on fire. So semi-nice kind of place, but as nice as you can get considering it's just a kill box. You know, very pleasant kill box. So we'll collect all that, drop it in my chest here. And they do need repairs sometimes. They basically take 10 damage every time something steps on them, including yourself. So you will have to repair them occasionally. And I have a lot of stuff now from farming these guys. Less wood and stone than I would because I used it to build this entire facility. If you just saved all the wood and stone, then you'd have way more. But, you know, it's nice to have nice things built up when you're doing this. So we start our timer. Essentially, I gave it almost exactly 1 minute and let them kind of burn alive there. So we're going to collect the stuff just to make sure we're at an exact even minute. And drop everything in, and then you can kind of inventory what you get. Sometimes, you know, you'll get bigger, the brute gray dwarfs, which drop different materials. You may get more wood or more stone. So ideally, if I timed it over a longer period of time, we'd have better data points, be able to actually graph that out and tell you the exact amount over time. But a full solid minute gives you, it should be close to the average that you're going to get over time with this. Because the guys spawn, and they die, and they spawn again. So we're just going to check it out, get the full minute, and then we're going to look at exactly the amount we got over that time, so you can kind of extrapolate out if you AFK for 20-30 minutes how much you're going to get, and it adds up pretty quickly. So here's our 1 minute, and that ended up netting us right here we have 3 eyes, 5 stone, 5 of the resin, and 6 wood. So if you add that up, we're going to round it. We'll assume 5 of each, aside from the eyes, every minute. So if you let this sit for 20 minutes, I mean, you're going to get 100 stone and 100 wood on average just from that 1 minute timer we checked out. So it's very worth building, definitely worth doing, especially since you can AFK and just kind of let it go and then come back and check on it and repair it and collect your loot. So, I mean, 100 stone and wood in a 20-minute period is pretty good since you can just do your taxes while you're waiting. So that's the video. Hope you enjoyed it, and you guys have a great time.